Hello, it's me, Rach Face. This me, back again for my life, my way, my face buried in a book. Book review edition! Whoop, whoop. Book review. Whoop, whoop. Book review. Did we all see the craziness leave my body then? Alright, now, something really weird happened. This is a book review. But how this book found its way to me, I've never had happen before. So this was like really cool because I was sitting at work and, well, no, I think it was before I went to work. Before I went to work, I got an Instagram message because I'd put up a post about another book. And then I got an Instagram message of an author asking me whether I wanted to read her book and if I would review it. An author messaged me. Guess what I said? I said yes. And then I was like, I'll read it when I get home from work. I started reading it on my lunch break. I read like 3 chapters and then was like, oh, I need to stop reading this because if I don't stop reading this, I'm never going to stop reading and then I'll never go back to work and I'd be fired. And I need the money to buy the books. I need the money to pay the bills, but you know what? I need the money to pay for books. Priorities, people. So who reached out and what was I reading? Well, Clarissa Bright reached out and asked me to read her book. Asked me if I wanted to read her book. And I said yes. And what was the book? It's called Taming Justice. And it's another one where I can't get the little cover to load properly. So this is what it looks like. Now, you look at the cover and it kind of looks like an old school mystery sort of book, does it not? Like a detective novel. And it's not. It's a 18 plus spicy dark mafia reverse harem. Gorgeous book. Gorgeous book. Now, I used to be the sort of person that could only read books that were written from one person's perspective. And I don't know when authors changed the tone to make it written from multiple perspectives. But it still kind of throws me sometimes where I'm like, wait, what? Who am I? What am I? Whose brain am I in now? So it does still throw me for a loop. This is written from the viewpoints of the 5 main characters. Each chapter is from a different character's voice. And it didn't confuse me. It made perfect sense because, you know what? Each character narrated what felt natural for them to be narrating. Which was really, really cool. And like something new. Like I've read a few books now that are from multiple perspectives. And I will admit, I still get confused sometimes because I'm so used to it being written in like single person. All from normally the girl's perspective. So when you bring the boy in, I'm like, wait, what? I'm in his brain now? How does an author get into the male brain? Like, that's a mystery to me. But, side note, that's not important. What is important is this is the story of Justice, Bash, Zane, Skylar, and Hussein. They are our 5 main characters. And then you have Adam, Iris, and Jez, and a few others over on this side that I just like, just go over there. Just go over there. So it's a very interesting story because Justice is caught in this little world of obviously not the healthiest environment. Going to say that her and Iris are friends, and her Justice at the beginning is in a relationship with Adam, but it's not really a relationship because, well, she knows he's constantly cheating, but he's there for protection. So really not a good environment to be in when you're only with somebody for protection because of the world that you live in. And then you find out that she is now living in a car. She witnesses something she shouldn't have. And she wakes up and finds herself in a house with Bash and Zane. Those are the first two characters that she wakes up in the house with. And then you find out that she actually knows Bash from when they were younger. She actually dated this character when they were younger. Except he went by Sebastian. And now goes by Bash. Which I love that nickname for Sebastian. I like the Bash nickname. I think that's really cool. And Zane is a doctor. And he's tending to her wounds because she was in a car crash. She was in a car crash with Bash and Zane, by the way. And then we meet Hussein and Skylar. All in this little mafia family together. And it's very much she has no clothes for quite a few of the starting chapters. And she uses that to her power, not to theirs, to hers. Like, she makes them uncomfortable. Like, she puts them in situations where it's like, haha, I am aware of how you are looking at me and I'm going to use that to my power to get what I want. She doesn't, well, depending on what she wants, sometimes she does get it. But it is fascinating to watch how these different characters react and interact with justice and interact with each other. Because, as they say, as the other three boys say, they've never seen Bash so interested in a girl or a woman. Like, they've never seen him so protective over a woman. What is it about this woman that is making you change all the rules? And then you've got the doctor, who's so sweet and so attentive to her and wants to take care of her and make sure she's okay. And then you've got Hussein, who's sort of, she pushes his buttons way too early on, and then it's like it all blows up and it's like, oh wait, hang on, I actually want to know more about you. And as she learns more about him and as he opens up to her more, you figure out that, oh my god, this boy has been hurt. There is more than meets the eye to this one. It's like, oh, we'll protect him too. And then you've got Skylar, who comes across as this freaking jerk, but is also probably the one who, at the end of the day, would dive in front of a bullet to protect her. Because he's a ladies' man. Never thought he would be the one that would be wanting to settle down, but he is actually the one that's like, oh, no. I'm willing to chase, and I'm willing to wait for you to want me. And it's like, oh. And then what's fascinating is there are cameras in the whole apartment, and all the boys know this. Justice, is not aware that there are cameras everywhere and that Bash can access the security footage. All the boys can access the security footage if they want to. So when she's seducing members of the thing and they're falling into temptation, Bash is watching on the cameras. What is it about the stalkerish, like, observers that is for some reason in these worlds really cool? What I think, you have to give it a read, because there is so much that happens between the characters, and the dynamics of the characters shifts and change so often. And why are they keeping her hostage, you're wondering, or held captive? Because they think she knows more than she knows. And it turns out she does actually know more than she knows, but she's so wrapped up in her own world of wanting to protect Iris in a certain way that she fails to see that the people that are holding her captive probably have power to help her. And I don't think all the dots don't quite connect to begin with for her, and she's still like frazzled as to why am I here, why am I attracted to these people that I shouldn't be, that are holding me captive, why am I letting myself be in this situation, how do I get out of this situation? And then the situation turns and she's actually enjoying herself, and it's like, well, do I want to get out of this situation? Well, yes I do, because I want to protect my friend and I want to save my friend, but I also sort of don't necessarily want to leave these boys. And then you watch this woman who was sort of a little in her shell, not in her shell, but like wasn't willing to sort of fight, learn her own strength and her own power through these 4 very powerful men that are like, you know, you can fight us, but we're going to teach you how to do it safely. And then they let her get a little bit of her own revenge right at the end. Which is just... I love stories where the men are strong and supportive and possessive and alpha in their own rights, but they are more than willing to let the woman grow and develop and walk right into her strength. Like, we're not going to make her a princess that needs to be rescuing constantly. No. We want her to be strong enough to protect herself and to stand her own ground and to fight back and to have a say and to use her mouth for multiple things. But it's amazing. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, it's one of those ones where I got so wrapped up in the world that even once the book was finished, that I'm tapping on the pages to be like, can I get some more, please? I even sent the author a message going like, seriously, can I get more? Like, what's next? But it's one of those worlds where you found yourself like a few days later being like, or you'd see something and you'd be like, oh, that reminds me of, you know, that part in the book, or like, that reminds me of that character, or that reminds me of, like, when you can find things in reality that bring you back to the book, you know it's a good book because you're like, the book is somewhere buried deep in this part, or deep in here, or deep in your soul, or when it's a spicy book, it can be buried elsewhere. But I need to stop. I highly recommend that you give this a read. Like, reverse harem, mafia, multiple perspectives, everything that I don't normally sort of gravitate to is now becoming the main thing that I'm reading. And I love finding new authors, and I love finding new genres and new tropes that I never thought I would be interested in, and seeing what happens there. But I highly recommend you give Taming Justice a read. Absolutely stunning. I dropped my Kindle. Absolutely stunning. Give it a read. And I will see you next time. Bye.